Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up a telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter as usual. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending, any topical issue of the day, we speak about it. So we encourage you to pick up a telephone and give us a call. That would be a good thing. The number to call is 442-0175. We on RealFM 91.9. We on YouTube, and also you can get us on Facebook, both the Facebook pages of RealFM and On Target and Francis Pierre. You can get us there. Give us a call. I recently in a lot of, we have to remember that June 19 just passed, and some people may still want to talk about what took place in Grenada many years ago, June 19. A lot of young people, I realize, don't know much about the history of yesteryear. They don't know much about yesteryear, and that might interest you, So young people may be curious and want to know. I always believe we should hold dialogue with the elders in our society, your parents in the house. You must know the history. When monkey write the story, monkey always right. And if you listen to the stories of other people, then what about your story? What you write? Then we complaining. You hear people complaining a lot. This is true and this is not true. We have to come to grips with the reality that when monkey write his story, monkey write. So you write yours. You speak about yours. Hold dialogue with your family members. Learn the stories in your own community, in your village. Teach your children the names of the villages in the parish. So much Grenadians don't know the name of the villages in their own parish. Know these things. You don't have to have no rocket scientist to do that. You don't have to go to college or go to university to do that. More often than that, your spouse, bus drivers, conductors, people, construction workers. If you're man hot, you may have women in different communities, different villages. Sometimes very discreet and prudent. So you can have relationship and live in different hunters, people who are fishermen. These people sometimes very knowledgeable about the community. They drink in every bar in the community. So when I say sinner's choice, most of the men know where sinner's choice is. So you can hold dialogue with your children and let them know the history. That is why some children, as soon as they exit school, they abandon the community. They abandon their parents. They never develop any love for the community. They don't even want people to know that they're from some community. Girl tell me once she from Tempe. Later I find out she from River Road. In yesteryear, man say he from Dunfermline. Next thing you hear he from Paul's. Man say he from Montfendu. Next thing you hear from Rose Hill. And these things are in our society. We could be proud of what we have. But you have to develop that culture. I've been challenged on many occasions in recent times because I continue to speak about the policies of government. And particularly at this time, the National Democratic Congress. Some people seem to be surprised at the Congress performance. And I always say to them, you're surprised because you don't study the policies of the political parties. Politicians would make blunder. They would make mistakes. But it's important for you to know the policy of your political party. Some political parties is not in your interest. Based upon the policy of the political party, you do not have to be a member of that party. The party actions would not generally be in your interest. Anybody in a political party would have the members have hold some similar ideas about politics and the parties and may promote specific ideology or policy goals. So you must study the party history. I've been paying a lot of attention to the NDC as a party and the NNP as a party and the difference between the two political organizations. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good evening. How
yes,
are you?
my brother.
Mr. Pierre, good evening. Belated Father's Day greetings. Hello, Mr. Pierre?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I call to commend you on your topic. I remember during the last political campaign, I was curious, so I went to a political meeting. And the member of Parliament for St. Patrick West, who is a foreign minister, indicated in the meeting to the audience that within 1 year he would put signs of all the streets in St. Patrick, Chantimel, Duquesne, Davie, all about. So when visitors come into Grenada, they will know this is Mount Fendu, they will know this is Montreach Village, this is Pleasance, this is so and so. And it's appalling to know after 1 year it remains the same thing. You don't see no street names of no parish, no community. As a visitor coming the last time from Trinidad, he wanted to find out where this gentleman lived, and he couldn't find out where Cannon Road is in Snell Hall. There was no name. So I think something should be done about it, and the minister should recall what he said and do what he's supposed to do. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar. And these things are important again. Because as I constantly said, we must know the history, and sometimes I blame political parties for that, and radio personalities, and journalists, and people in Grenada who like to say they're not partisan. As soon as you're speaking to them, they like to say they're not partisan, but they're speaking about party straight. If we understand the policies of the political party, we would not be surprised at the actions. At this time, a lot of people seem to be surprised or disappointed in the National Democratic Congress. And while I don't go after the blunders of individual ministers, I look at the commonalities, what is common in the party's policy and the implementation, and this is the difference. So when Theo Baltan, Raoud, and John Galt and the others and I were in discussion, we spent a lot of time on the policies of the NDC. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am, welcome.
I was watching the news last night. They honored some people, and then Mr. Tillman was in it. Question and answer. I live in Hermitage all my years. I never see Mr. Tillman associate with neither Hermitage people know that. I never hear he was a cricketer. I never hear he was in any programming whatsoever. How you get that honor? Mr. Pierre?
Well, he was the prime minister of the country, and his political party is in power. So and that alone.
That alone get him made.
Yes, that alone. You don't have to do anything in the community.
No.
Because the NDC at this time, particularly in light of their policy, they would promote people who are NDC.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, they institute a policy of restorative justice. That is tantamount to political vengeance.
I listened Pierre giving them the lecture how the school system must go on and what he must do. It's like you don't tell the Prime Minister nothing, you know. He come and he just telling him, arguing with himself. I used to hear them saying that Dr. Mitchell is this and Dr. Mitchell is that. And that man was not Dr. Mitchell because I don't see better day. I don't be better day. Because they said Dr. Mitchell, hashy, and he getting on and whatsoever. But I don't find it because you're telling them how to go with the school system.
They're not interested in that.
You're sending your teachers, you send teachers who come out in college, you send more, because every year or every 2 years, Dr. Mitchell used to send teachers in National College to buck up the standard. You check it out? When you're telling these people and them they don't want to hear Miss Kate Lewis talk about the Imani, it's like you're not telling when they Imani, what they learning, what they come to learn, what going on? Tell me.
Anytime you raise the word Imani for NDC, does make them mad, you know. That is the organization that the NDC dislike the most in the country, you know. Anytime you confront the NDC member, even in your local talk on the ground, and you talk about Imani, they just get vexed.
No, man, we have to do better than that.
Well, you see, that is where you have to understand, my sister, the policy of NDC.
I didn't understand you have a bill they go to prison. I don't understand the bill, so I can't comment on it. You know, the bill that they say they go and pass. I don't understand. I have to ask somebody to give me more lecture about it so then I could comment about it. Check it out, but all for now, I do say nothing, I don't criticize it, I don't think. And then NMPI, don't forget Mr. Philip, work with him as a hard candidate. Come on, send your children to register. Come on, I don't know what you know what's going on in society. We need these people and them to move. Otherwise, they're going on white in a
well, you have a lot of time to get them to move. You have 4 years. So what you have to do during these 4 years...
Without 4 years, look at the whole tax they give me.
You see, my daughter, during this period of time, we must understand what is the policy of the government. Black wizards say inside NDC and all the INNP. You see, that is why we are surprised now. Anytime you say the word Imani, NDC just get mad.
I tell you, they talk Kate Lewis talk about it and it's like Rod Redhead or whosoever, they mad as go back a day, you know.
If you want to get an NDC vex, talk about Imani.
The man come with he come with a driver's license. Look, in a twin we have it in Carrico. And when we used to go years, staying months before we get... So that means you used to drive without license in Carrico? What's going on with these people and them? We have to stop that.
You see... Yes, my sister. I think the NNP have to spend some time educating the public about the policies of NDC. Because too much NNP seems surprised. You heard Mr. Tillman say that people in the country happy now. And when Mr. Tillman speaks, he's speaking about the good people. He's not speaking about Itafood people. He's not speaking about the people that the journalists, the motivational speaker that is sponsored by Cooperative Bank, considered as the nasty people. He's not speaking about them. So when Mr. Tillman speaks, he's not speaking about us. They're in a different dimension. Wrong election, they recognize that they cannot win election if they don't woo supporters of the NNP or people who should normally supporting NNP. Like Black Wizard say inside NDC, we have NNP. But once election finished, they said this is our time now. Even number 10 start to speak their language. Me and my family, the tears that she used to shed for the people in her constituency have dried up. And she have tears now for she and she family. Listen to her. Listen to her when she gave her justification for crossing the border. 2 of them was about money. And the other 2, she claimed that she was not consulted in situation where she don't have to be consulted. But already she is reaping rewards. I hope one day she will tell us who paid for her trip to go to England and who paid for her trip to go to America. And we're hearing about a sum of $160,000. I know she is squeaky clean. So one day, number 10 would tell us whether that money come in she hand and who gave her. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, number 10 support all what going on in Parliament today. I fully support it, Mr. Speaker. Number 10 come now like if she drink the broth too, you know.
Well, you again remember what Wizard say. Inside NDC, we have NNP.
No, boy.
Yeah. You see,
really crooked. That way you don't have to trust no.
That is why we must understand what is the policy. That is what have a lot of people surprised.
Nobody she bowing she head. She can't watch the corridor.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
Trust me, Mr.
But the money, you don't know if number 10 was pimp. John Galt say he don't believe she was a Trojan horse.
No, man.
So sometimes the law that has been provided act as a magnet to have her jump over the boundary.
All right, later.
Yes. So I think the policy of the NDC is an important one. Remember, the Prime Minister himself was sold to the public as a man with deep pockets and contact. And at the point in time, I said it's the first time in the Caribbean a leader come in a political party and he was sold as that. Deep pockets and contact. It was never about helping Grenadians. It was never about policy position. It was never about championing the cause of the underprivileged or the marginalized. Most people who come into politics, they claim that they come to champion the cause of the underprivileged or the marginalized. But that was not the case. Immediately on reaching the prime ministership, his first opening salvo was to claim we need more money, otherwise we may get corrupt. And I took strong objection to that. The amount of money or the amount of income you have absolutely nothing to do with corruption. And if you propagate that belief, that principle, that philosophy, you are undermining voluntarism. You are saying that people could only be honest if you give them money. You are saying if a man don't get enough money, he's going to get corrupt. And then the question is, how much money is enough? So these statements, and you see immediately he gave $2,000 more to individuals. But he put it in a manner that he would not be taxed. You see the recklessness, the unconservative attitude that the government display in traveling. It seems that they are traveling at the drop of a hat. They are squandering and lavishing in affairs. We heard a report that some of them brought their spouse on the trip. They brought their spouse on the trip, paid by government. And no account is given of it. We heard stories where some of them took their shopping bag and they gone in the government coffers. They believe the government coffers is a supermarket. So they were able to take loan from the GDB. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good. Mr.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes. Afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Afternoon.
Yes, go right ahead.
So why you want to give them money because you find when the cost of the wrong things is put. When I notice I looking at them when
Your phone giving some problems. Try and call back. We can't tell you on the other side. So the government has thrown responsibility, discipline, ethics, honesty out of the door. In one of the interviews, I'm not even surprised that Mr. Tillman Thomas endorsed it. But for you to know that, you have to know history. You have to go back and find out what Michelangelo said about him. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller.
Yes, you really have to find out about history. And I as you talk about that, I must say that, so Eric Matugeri, a man, led a party, the GLP, man that care about people, especially low-income bracket people. One who struggle, I know, has been on the estates, and when you look at the work that he have done for poor people in this country, yes? I mean, they used to laugh at it about travel and many other things. Education for the poor boys and girls, build schools, and so forth. And I'll tell you what, when he was going for independence for Grenada, there was a massive strike by the middle class and that upper class in this country. And when he came back from England, 50 years ago, bringing independence, the country was in darkness. I know you have your historian and people at that age group could testify to that, because you have some people doubting it. Because many of them, independence celebration at that time, 50 years ago, was on that torchlight and Masanto, and they still have a hate. Even today, he gone in the grave, but they still hate him. So anytime your leadership or your prime minister care about poor people, the low-income bracket people, to bring safety nets and so forth, they have a hate. Same thing now, they have a hate for Dr. Kit Mitchell and the NNP. Why? Because of the opportunities and the different programs that are set up for people, to gain a livelihood in this country. You talk about the Imani program, you talk about our safety nets, you talk about many things. And when you look at these men and women in the New National Party, that people who have a profession, they have business, they don't come to look for and to grab what in government, They live a life to work for the people of this country, And when you look about a man called Alvin Dabrio and Oliver Joseph and Gregory Boyne and so forth, they didn't come to look and fill the pocket, They come to serve this country. And when you look at all the projects, say government is continuity, yes. But when you look at all the projects that going on, is NNP created those projects? You know what I mean? Even though the thing rebound or the bless or the whatever NMP, and they must give the Right Honorable Dr. Mitchell the credit. And all who gone, Mr. Pierre, and all who have their agenda because they have their own agenda, opportunistic, and I believe that the New National Party, continue the real good fight, because they are battle-tested party and continue the good work. And many go, many come, and continue the good work, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar, and also Michael Battis. Individuals who came into politics and they had good source of income, and they left strong business and came into politics. And one could say they did not come for the money. So I take the strongest objection with the Prime Minister's statements. If you want to raise the salaries of the MPs, it might be justified. But don't claim ever that it's going to contribute to corruption if you don't. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, this morning I hear a caller talking about the project what they from Google Valley here go right down to Pilesfield. That was in the pipeline in NDC. Mr. Pierre, how that could be in the pipeline on NDC and NDC chase CCC on the road? Eh? They chase them back when they come out. Where would I get the money to build it? If they had a plan, but they didn't have money, so they can't come on program on radio and saying that how that the project was NDC project. It cannot be NDC project when they chase CCT. When Dr. Mitchell come back in power, he bring it to CCT, and that will go. They hide in pipeline. Where they get the money? Where they get the money and they close on Parliament for 6 months?
In the pipeline.
Huh? Is in the pipeline?
Caller, you have to remember in 2005, 2008, 2013, the economy was in free fall. 110 million unpaid claim in the treasury.
Tell them that they don't
7 million unpaid claim for medical medicines and etc.
I do understand this.
They sold 13 pieces of property. They sold property that did not belong to them. If NDC was one individual, all know they're in jail for selling people property.
But Dr. Mitchell, they'll go through all this there because the amount of things they do. If Dr. Mitchell is sit down and studying what they do, we didn't do nothing.
You see, the problem is NNP forget that they had to explain NDC policy and the history to the members. The members forget.
These people and them. Now, as all you know who government, Dr. Mitchell give water to government to help pay the water. NDC don't pay a bill.
NDC don't have to pay bill. They say fools could make money, but it take wise people to spend it. You didn't hear that?
All right.
So they spend what they have there.
Yeah, that and they come back.
And they gave the taxpayers a break.
They first set a NDC full packet, and that one come again. They come to full packet again, and the hungry mouth walking on the head.
But for them to get in power, it means that people put them in power.
Okay.
And that's the issue.
Well, the people put them there. How they go there, so they go come
because
out.
The people were not did not receive enough information that the policy that they were supporting is counterproductive to them. They did not know, they didn't remember that in 2009, I think 1990, in 1990, they fired the grandparents and the parents from the estate, including Shati from Moya. They fired them. They didn't realize that in 2008 to 2013, they dismantled the Imani program and sent them home. And they deducted money from the road workers. And although they promised the elderly $400, they send the majority of them home. They forget. So when they promise to increase that money to $600, people jump up and whine. When they promise to make workers on contract permanent, people believe. They told the Imani they made a mistake. They apologized to them. We made a political mistake when you send you home the last time. This time we're going to make you permanent. And the Imani whine. And now, the Imani have to face the truth. They want to send them home again. Anytime, if you want to make a strong NDC vex, start to talk about Imani. You try. Don't believe me when I speak. Hold discussion with a strong NNP, a strong member of the National Democratic Congress, and start speaking about Imani program. And you're going to see how they get angry. They either call you stupid or dunce, or they say you don't have sense. Listen to the language that comes from the top NDC members. Whether it's the Minister of Labor, whether it's the Foreign Minister, whether it is Willie, whether it is Mr. Tillman Thomas, listen to the language that they use. They talk, yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost a caller. Caller, just call back. And that is why I speak about the policy. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother.
Right. Oh, I heard Mr. Ron said in the parliament this morning.
Somebody you start a little slow. We can't hear you.
I heard Mr. Ron said this morning in the parliament that when they came into office, they made a new batch of persons, Imani persons there.
They want to make a new batch of what?
Of Imani.
Imani yeah, I like that voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was about 1,200. And he don't know if they are home now, neither he don't know if they are getting a stipend. I mean, that is craziness.
Well, I think better you shut him out rather than saying that.
How the minister don't know if 1,200 people is being given a stipend or you know their home? I don't think I didn't see none of them.
I think the minister is preparing. What he's doing, my friend, he's laying the groundwork for sending them home. That's what he's doing, you know. He's laying the groundwork for sending them home.
That's serious. You is the minister of the thing, so you don't know what the vote is for the ministry. You don't know what amount of person that's receiving stipend or money from the ministry. That's the man word, you know. That's craziness. Because you must know if the people are home, or you must know if they're not placed into anything. You will have 1,200 people home and still giving them a stipend. And you can't find a place to place them. So,
well, you see, anytime you say Imani, NDC does lose their head, you know. That is the group they dislike the most in the country, you know. Imani.
They had a cordial meeting this morning. They started off by Dr. Mitchell asking them some questions. I think they say they just get a question. They get them last night. You have parliament today where you get a question last night. So the permanent secretary and them work last night to prepare those questions. And Dr. Mitchell said he don't want it read. He want the documentation of the questions. So they didn't go into the questions this morning. But they have them ready, they say.
You realize how they throw the Public Service Commission under the truck? They say ask the Public Service Commission the question for themselves.
Yeah.
So now we will be asking them in the public.
Yeah. No, they get the public service prepare the question, but you can't read it. You can't give it out.
We're going to ask
You
the
get it
Public
last
Service Commission in the public, because it seems that the Public Service Commission has become an agent for the government dirty political work.
Well, you're quite right, but yeah, believe it, this fellow and them, they're going to fight everything to remain there. It's not an easy job.
Well, they therefore go to while till election.
I am saying that a lot of
and if the people want them back, nothing is wrong with that. That's a democratic
a lot of people
process.
don't want to hear people say that, but the fact is,
yeah, we must face the truth.
They're going to go right down to the wire, even
of
though
course,
they have walk without clothes. They're doing it.
Yeah, because you see the shopping in the government coffers.
Oh yeah.
If you could get loan over $3 million, if you could fly all over the world at the whim and fancy, if number 10 just join you, and number 10 have a trip to England, one to America, and you hear $160,000 involved, then what you expect? You expect they'll go with it.
They talk about the houses to give out, and number 10 was there, and she will say a word, and she forget that the house was under her.
Well, the keys she given Kayako, she say she make a mistake, and the policy is wrong, and she shouldn't give them, I guess, as much.
Oh, God, Lord.
Yeah, that's it.
Have a good evening.
Yes, my brother. They say sometimes money talk and bullshit work. And that seems to be the case that is existing now. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Yeah, well, right now, something I have to say about the program is very good, but under the NNP administration back in 2013, they had a program where they did launch, which was Young Inmate Second Chance Project. And right now, under this new administration, I find like young children being going into prison, and they like is not no going on for them. You understand? In terms of like making the transformation in their life, because a lot of people get benefit out of the program which they launch. So I want to know what is going on with them young inmates in the prison right now. Thank you, sir.
Yes, well, caller, one of the policies of the National Democratic Congress, every time they're in power, every time they cut social programs. Yes, caller. Yes, every time the NDC come in power, they cut social programs. So some of these programs will just disappear in the thin air. The NDC does behave like vultures. They seem to scavenge on the weak in the country. And you don't have to believe me, Just go back and watch NDC track record. So you find people who are elderly, physically challenged, and in an economic situation on the brink of destitute. And government provide assistance for them. They was getting $450. About 15 years ago, the NDC promised to give them $400. Now they're getting $450. The NDC removed $150 from that program, although they promised them $650. If that is not the action of a vulture, then tell me what it is. If that is not the action of a scavenger, then tell me what it is. The National Democratic Congress have not advanced any economic reasons or justification for removing $150 from the elderly and the physically challenged. Yes, caller, welcome.
Sir Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother, welcome.
Sir Pierre, talking about the physical challenge and so on, the poor vulnerable. The poor vulnerable get now $5,000 step up just now. $5,000 step up. 1,500 of them get now $5,000 step up.
When they get it already, are they planning to give them?
Huh?
They planning to give them or they get it already?
The bill signed already, they getting it?
Right. So they're getting $5,000 support?
Yes.
That is the first time I'm hearing it from you. I've not heard it before. So the people they remove $150 for, these are the people they're giving $5,000 support?
Mr. Pierre,
these are the people they're giving $5,000?
The poor and vulnerable get now $5,000
Caller.
Hey.
Caller.
Yeah.
We cannot tolerate more promise to these people. If it is a fact, we want to know.
Well, it is a fact because it's already signed, still and delivered.
Well, I have not heard that. So explain to me.
Mr. Pierre, you hear that? Let me tell you something. Mr. Pierre.
Caller.
Hey.
I'm not entertaining promise to these people who are already traumatized. So I want to know, the people you removed the $150 from, are they the ones getting the $5,000?
No.
Right, so there are different group of people.
These NLP people are wicked set of people. They give people $300 for 10 years. And 1 month before election, they give $150.
Caller, what you're saying is not true. What you're saying is not true. No, caller. Watch me. I don't want us to go down that route. Listen a while. Ask the Minister of Social Affairs. If it is 1 month before, ask the Minister of Social Affairs. That means she is telling lies. If what you're saying is true, caller, if what you're saying is true, the Minister of Social Affairs is lying.
A month before election, they give them $150.
What you're saying is not true.
Mr. Pierre,
thank you, caller.
Listen,
thank you.
I live in this country here, and I never hear no government sell government property. They sell government property, and they take half of the money, and they put half in the churches. What kind of people is that?
Caller, you're not saying truthful things. Caller, it's not necessary for you to tell more lies because the NDC tells so much lies already. Don't join the NDC and tell more lies. I know you are not part of the policy-making people. You might be an NNP inside NDC. You might be one of the people that black wizards say about. You're not part of the policy decision. During the 2008-2013 reign, when the economy was in free fall and the National Democratic Congress was selling government assets almost every month to meet current expenditure, they sold 13 pieces of property. They sold property that did not belong to the government. And they sold shares that they did not have the legal authority to sell. And you could ask Mr. Tillman Thomas if that is the truth. So you have to be careful what you say. The government have no economic reason, no justification to remove $150 from the physically challenged and the elderly. Yes, caller, welcome. Caller, welcome.
Welcome. Tell the man he lie. We get that money long months and nearly a year before election. So
yeah, well, I cannot correct him already. I tell him go back and find out from the Minister of Social Affairs.
Tell him he lie.
Either he lying or she lying. So they have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And some of the National Democratic Congress, I think, as a political party, you have to start to correct some statements you make. You have been openly telling lies. You have been planning to tell lies. And some of the lies are so impactful that is affecting people. That is why it's difficult for you to hear the word Imani. Yes, caller, welcome. Caller, we lose that caller. Caller, you there? All right, we lost that caller. So you see, I'm always on the issue of the policies of the government, not the mistakes of individual ministers. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
You see where them lies come from? You see how the people their life, even the supporters' life. Mr. Pierre, why they waste all the energy with this man? When people want to call you, they can't get
you see, let me
to
tell you why, sister. Let me tell you why. One of the biggest problem NNP supporters have, they don't know the policy of the NDC.
Exactly.
Perhaps they need to listen and have more conversation with NDC. You see, caller, if you have more conversation with the NDC members, you would understand NDC more. Unless
just
people...
recently had a conversation with one when I security that is in a hole, and that friend of mine wanted to go up sky with me. I was hung up before because he was going on and going on and going on. That is the same mentality of those people and them up. Why?
Yeah.
Okay, you take care.
Yes, thank you. So I believe that we must know the political parties. We must hold discussion with them. And I encourage people to have discussion with the members of the NDC, particularly hardline NDC. As soon as you take issue with them, they call you stupid. They say you dunce. They say you don't have sense. Sometimes when they watch me and they say, well, the kind of height he have, he might have a briefcase or certificate too. They say, well, you're supporting KIT or some sort of issues. They're very dismissive and they're very negative. It's very easy for NDC to call you nasty. Look at the gentleman that the cooperative bank is sponsoring him to constantly attack people and call them nasty. Government has employed the individual or government agency or what to act as a motivational speaker. And this individual mouth is as if it's pus that pours out of it. He is arrogant, ill-disciplined, disrespectful, and extremely dismissive of people in the lower income group. But that is the NDC. And all you have to do is to sit down and hold discussion with them on a regular basis. They cannot tell you why they're against the Imani program. Because it is one of the best programs that have been instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years to address some of the challenges that young people who are struggling to get jobs, to help them to be more competitive on the job market, to help them to maintain some semblance of sanity, gives them an opportunity to have a job, have an income with it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre, and how are you today?
Great, man. Good, man.
Okay. Yes, two things that will be back to Grenada. Walk the road and Hopeville. But it wouldn't be Hopeville. It would be Calvin, I think. Calvin. They want to go on back.
Your phone giving some trouble. You have to call us back. Somebody that we're not getting you. Yes, sometimes we have to look at the bright side. And as we speak, we hope that the NDC change. As we speak, we hope members of the NDC change. I've always asked them, yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother.
Let me tell you something. When did man tell you about that money? During NDC time, it was $150 first, you know. It was $150 first, the AJB people money.
$150?
First. And when NNP thing, NNP government put $50 and make it to
Come to
200.
200.
And then they come back and same NNP put it the next 100 and make it 3.
Yeah.
Some people, they say some people getting, according to the what, some getting 2 and some getting 3. And then NDC, NNP come back and they put it.
Make it 450.
Right. So thank you and good afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
The NDC promised 450 when it was 150. They didn't put nothing. Instead of that, they removed people from the program. 5 women from Paraclete alone come out. 2 is alive today. 1 is 100 years. I doesn't speak about men. When they take out men, I don't speak about men. And the NDC promised 650 today. And after they win election, they remove 150 from it. I don't know how you could justify that. I asked this question umpteen time. How could you justify scavenging from the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children? I don't know. But it's because the National Democratic Congress policy have always been hostile to people in the lower echelons of society, the lower income group. They always hostile to them. They always blame people for being poor. And as such, sometimes they believe that they are the elitists in the country. They're smart and they're bright. I don't know why they believe that. But maybe we have to engage them with more discussion and speak about the policy of the NDC, how it is counterproductive the country. It has never contributed to the growth of the economy. Never. Every time this political party comes into power, yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre here, he may talking about marketing board well thing now. Mr. Pierre, where marketing board is?
I thought they closed down marketing board.
Well, I hear any welcome furniture.
Well, when NDC closed up, it does get good.
Well, yesterday you didn't hear what the caller is saying. Forget to ask.
I hear what the caller said. Where marketing board?
Where marketing board?
I thought they closed down marketing board.
Well, you don't have in Granville, you don't in Sortes, you don't in St. George's, where it is.
Well, they must be saying Paradise, Granby Estate doing very well now because they fired 30 workers from it. Maybe they say the cotton scale insect not spreading, but I know you reach all in Milan in Paraclete.
I see they showing PCI yam in Granby up there and saying they get it from Vinci.
Well, they don't want workers to go and harvest the peas. Other people must be harvesting it.
It's up here, you know, it's here, it's something else.
You remember the National Democratic Congress cut down Belvedere nutmeg and plant banana, you know.
Later, Mr. Pierre.
You see, sometimes you have to understand this political party. When you hear they say things nice and good, it's something dramatically wrong they do. This political party cut down Belvedere nutmeg, you know. They take a loan and then they cut down Belvedere nutmeg. I understand one man, he ain't cut down, he's single. And he alone is selling nutmeg after. They cut down Belvedere nutmeg. They dig up on the lake in La Poterie, River Antoine. They dig up on the lake and plant banana, cut down the trees. Everybody tell them this project done good. NDC say that the best program in the world. So the party accustomed doing this strange things that is counterproductive towards agriculture. Every time NDC come, agriculture become worse off. And you could go back in history and check it. And I think the challenge for us is that we don't go back and look at the policies of the party and the party track record. We should not be deceived by that political party. The people who are involved in the Imani program ought not to be deceived. So if you say Imani now, and the minister say you don't know where they are, maybe he's preparing the groundwork for the final demise. But that is the NDC. Don't expect NDC to seek the interests of the common man. They have already satisfied the clientele. They gave a tax break. You have some flying all over the world and benefiting from it to help enrich the coffers. They are attempting to raise the minister's pay by $4,000 or $5,000 because they claim if they don't get more money, they're going to corrupt. And they're even able to attract number 10 to cross the boundary line because the pay look attractive. $160,000 is a significant term and more money likely to get. Number 10 could get the supermarket, the shopping bag, and join the National Democratic Congress in shopping in the government coffers. With all that, we still must look for the opportunities that we have. Anytime a country have disaster or hard time, there are opportunities. You have to try to be positive and look at the opportunities that you can get and make certain that your children get a proper education. Don't be distracted by the different stunts that is now in place by government. You have to take the bull by the horn and make certain that your children get a good education in school. You have to try your best. Let them know they have to do mathematics and physics, biology and chemistry. They have to do English language. They must put emphasis on a foreign language to make them competitive on the job market. And I think if we do that, the future is ensured. Our children will be more competitive. And we want to thank you for being with us today. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch. Thank you very much.